Hello, hello. It is me again, Nicole Ryan with Lana Solutions, your debt diva. So where did I coin the phrase debt diva? So when I think of debt, I think of it as this annoying, I don't know, maybe a yoke, something that's either kind of choking the life out of you or like a barrier you're trying to break across. But when I think of debt diva, I think of this individual or this family or this group who's coming up against this, either this barrier or just the blockage of trying to break free from debt, period. So as a diva, if anyone knows anything about the phrase diva, I think of that as someone who's able to overcome obstacles. And a lot of times when we're dealing with debt, it can be an obstacle, an annoying obstacle, never ending, always there type obstacle. So with that being said, today's topic, I wanted to go ahead and cover fear of finances. That's right, fear. When I'm working with clients, friends, family members, nonprofits, whatever the case may be, we have a conversation. And during this conversation is where I get an opportunity to really see what's going on in the lives of these individuals or families or businesses. And something that always comes up is the fear of just never getting out of this cycle or this pattern of always owing some type of debt. And I mean, let's face it, expenses are a part of life, but they don't have to be scary. That's why I wanted to take time today and tackle fear of finances. So the first thing to do to overcome any type of fear of finances, I'm going to say it again, if you've seen my other shows, is to make sure you get wisdom and understanding about what you're going through, right? So the easiest thing to do is to sit down, gather all the debt, and go through it. I know, it can be scary. You might even have to have somebody do it with you, which is okay. You can reach out and I can definitely help as much as I can to kind of walk you through it step by step. And I can connect you to other nonprofit organizations that do this just for you here in our community. So yeah, open the mail. That's key. Because a lot of times when that mail is coming in, you don't even want to go to the mailbox. You don't even want to look at the mail. But you have to face it. So step number one is definitely gathering all the debt, all your expenditures, and being able to sit down at the table and face it. And a lot of times you may need to carve out an hour or two just to get started. So opening the mail, answering the phone calls is definitely step one, because it's going to give you an opportunity to see where you're at. Because you can't set any goals if you don't have a clue where you're at. So if you don't do anything today, maybe set a date and a time to open the mail and start answering the phone calls. Let's start with opening the mail. Now, when you're opening the mail, this is going to be a process. So please have like a notebook or your laptop or something where you can write down the name of the organization that is collecting the funds. So rather it be in collections or it's just a traditional expense. You want to sit down and you want to open up ABC Collections, right? And you want to find out, number one, you want to find out who they are. So you want to definitely document the name of the company, who they're collecting on behalf, which is the original creditor, and how much you owe. Once you write this down, it's going to give you an opportunity to not only figure out who is this collecting and why. So with that being said, I can say I'm ABC Collections and you owe a debt of X amount of dollars, but if you don't do your homework and find out exactly if you owe it or not, which is a validation of debt, you're just paying to be paying, and that is the same as unconscious spending, if not worse, because there's a lot of predators out here, and they take advantage of that. They get the public record when there are garnishments and judgments being issued here, right here in our community. Keep that in mind. So if you ever wonder why all of a sudden you're getting a ton of letters in the mail, asking if they can help you with tax debt or just your regular debt, chances are you're probably being garnished. And it's probably in the mail you decided not to open. So you're opening your mail, you're establishing validation of debt because you want to ensure ABC Collections is legit, and whom they're saying you owe, you truly owe that amount of money. So what does that look like? If you Google validation of debt letter, you can find a template and you can just emulate whatever that letter says. What you want to know is you want to see the contract of where this debt originated, right? You say that ABC Collections says I owe ABC Plumbing $100. Well, I need you to show me where I signed off on you to do the service or the product that I purchased and the date that this contract actually took place. Second, you have to have itemized statement. What did the plumber do? What do I really owe on? What did he come in and fix? Or did he ever fix it? Did he ever show up? I find with a lot of medical debt, we have no idea what we're paying. So we have to make sure that we acquire this validation of debt. What it will do, it's not only going to get you organized as to what you owe, but moving forward with your expenses, let's say you decide to hire ABC Plumbing again, and you realize the last time you were being charged for items that were not taken care of. It's also going to set up wisdom and understanding when you're reaching out to servicers or different companies to take care of things for you. I don't want to get in too much to that, so I want to focus, but make sure, number one, you open your mail and you get a validation from that said creditor or collection agency of what you owe. You're writing down a list of everything you owe, how much you owe. It sounds hard, but once you start doing it, you'll get in the flow of it, and you'll be a lot more detailed when it comes to your expenditures. All right. So you've opened the mail, you've started to write down everyone you owe and how much you owe, right? You've determined that it is a real debt that you owed. Let's say that you find out you have no idea who these people are. It's okay when you reach out to them for the validation, where legally they have to validate that you truly do owe them, to tell them, I have no knowledge of this account. This is not my account, right? Because you truly do not know. Even if it's a reputable creditor or collection agency, get proof. That proof is going to save you so much time and money. So we got everything written down. We have our balances. We move to the next item. The next item that can be the scariest for people is to answer those phone calls. You get them, I get them, and sometimes it is ridiculous. It's not even a collector. Sometimes it's just sales. But because you know that you owe folks money, you have no idea who is calling your line, and you could actually eliminate a lot of those annoying calls if you pick up the phone. So by picking up the phone, you are still going to establish validation. Now you have to remember, and you have to be able to take the lead, because creditors and collectors can be pushy, pushy, pushy. And you have to learn how to push back professionally. So the first thing you're doing, you got to remember, they're calling your line. And you do not have to speak to anyone. And you can tell them to cease and desist all oral communication and send it in writing if you're having a hard time being able to speak with them. Because some of them can be very rude, abusive, and they will harass you. Now, that's not everyone. Because of the FDCPA laws, which is the laws around collections, you don't deal with that as much, but it is still out there. So, with the phone call, you're focusing. They're calling you. You're in charge. You get to ask the questions, right? Because they will bombard you and they will start asking you questions and back you up into a wall. Before you know it, you're giving them your credit card number and you're paying off a debt that you don't even know if you really owe it. So you pump the brakes as soon as they call. Hello, may I please speak to Peggy Sue? This is Peggy Sue. How may I help you? Well, this is ABC Collections, and this is an attempt to collect the debt. Any information obtained will be used for that purpose only. Do you stay at 12345 Lewis Avenue? Then they get to asking you questions, and that's when you say, hold up, ABC Collections, ABC Creditor. Who are you? Why are you calling my number? Do I have business with you? I'm going to need you to send that in writing. Okay, we can do that, but give me a moment. I need to verify who you are. Wait a minute. I don't know who you are. I need to verify who you are. And at that moment, that's when you have them send you everything in writing. A lot of those phone calls are recorded, but I come from the collections background, and there's a lot of things that get mishandled. Not just in collection agencies, but with creditors in general. We're people. It happens. We try to have these systems and processes and stay as organized as we can, but we lose phone calls. There's times recordings don't work, and we try to go back and we're looking at notes where a customer is saying that they've paid it, and they got proof that they paid it, or they never had a contract with said creditor, and we're coming after you for money and you're thinking it's valid, and a lot of times it's not. And I'm also finding out even when it is valid, there's a lot of fees and charges and things on those statements that you truly do not owe. So I guess I'm saying when you move to the step of answering the phone calls, I want to make sure that if anything doesn't stick out on this show today, validation of debt. Meaning you show me who you are and you show me that I truly owe this money. Okay? Those two steps, by opening the mail, answering the phone calls, and validating all the debt, are going to remove so much fear, because it's going to take you away from the unknown into knowing exactly what you owe. Only then will you be able to sit back and form a budget, form a plan to become debt-free. So if you can do those two things for me, set a date to do this. It's going to take some of you about an hour to 2 hours. And if you get pushback, remember, on those phone calls and even letters, have them cease and desist all collection efforts. If you only want oral, meaning don't call my phone anymore, then they legally have to stop. If you want oral and written, that can be a little tricky, because that way you don't have any kind of open communication as to what's going on, but you can definitely cease and desist all collection efforts until you seek legal advice or a financial planner or a debt relief company or someone who can help you get things turned around, okay? We're removing fear from finances. So if you're just joining us, we just covered how to open your mail and how to start answering your phone calls, and also being able to stay in control of the debt collection process. You don't ever want to feel like you're just being pushed into doing things. Another thing that I realized in my tenure in the collection agencies was that we can be a bit pushy because we have goals we need to meet, and we'll tell you what you can pay, and a lot of times you cannot make that payment arrangement. You're just kind of saying it because you're afraid and you just want to get off the phone call. Do not be backed up into a corner to say you can pay $200 every 2 weeks and you know, or you don't really know, what you have available to pay. Another thing as a collector and creditors, telling you what you can pay just makes things worse. You are free to tell us, give me a moment to crunch my own numbers and get back to you. You do not have to make a decision right then and there on that phone call, or if you get that letter in the mail. Stop for a minute. Check your expense tracker that we talked about on previous shows. Check your budget, and you need to see if there is a surplus, what you can pay and what you can't pay. And there's a lot of phenomenal organizations like Omaha 100, and I want to say tied to Family Housing Advisory. But even if you Google some of these entities, if you connect with like the Empowerment Network, No Empty Pots, Chariots for Hope, Bridges Out of Poverty, they will connect you to other resources that may even be able to help you with some type of debt consolidation where you don't have any interest you have to pay, but they can gather all that debt and then show you how to take care of things, because it's easier said than done. But I'm finding out, even when we finally make a decision to sit down and open the mail and answer the phone call, life is still lifing. And you'll hear me say that a lot, because what's happening in our day-to-day trials or tragedies or loss of employment or loved ones who are the breadwinner, that's not going to stop while you're trying to eliminate debt. So you have to be able to find accountability resources, if I will, like Lana Solutions and so many other entities that will work for you, and we have a heart for the community. Okay? So you've gotten through the piece of opening your mail, answering your phone call, validating the debt, making sure it is a real debt. Your next step, we talked about taking control of the call. You're going to sit down and determine if there's a surplus or a deficit, right? And then it's going to tell you what you have available. And if you don't have the money available, listen to me. This is the part. If the funds are not available, if you cannot see any way to pay back who you owe, be honest. And that is exactly what you will tell them. You're not taking on a victim mentality. You are in a financial transition. And this is where you're going to have to sit back as an individual, family, or business, and you are going to have to figure out how you're going to turn things around. How you're either going to earn more income or you're going to cut back on your expenses. I've had people move, I've had married couples with kids move back in with their parents, only to a year later go purchase their own home and start living debt-free. Dave Ramsey, that's a good person you can follow. He has a lot of free resources on social media platforms, and of course, items you can buy. He has a lot of books out there that will educate you as well. Removing fear from finances will take work. It will take consistency and accountability. So connect yourself with this beautiful community that we have here in Omaha and the surrounding areas, and take it one step at a time. And remember, you are not a victim. You are just going through a financial transition. And until next time, it's your girl, Nicole Ryan, your debt diva with Lana Solutions. See you guys.